The first rays of the twin suns of the celestial dragon empire reflected off the crystal towers, scattering colors across the sky like a living rainbow. Elias Ward stood on the observation platform, holding Lumestra close. The baby dragon's tiny claws clung to his shoulder, and her glowing horns pulsed softly, almost in sync with his heartbeat. Today was different. Today, the calm of the Empire was about to face a test, one that would challenge dragons, humans, and the bond that had formed between them from the distance. A cosmic storm approached. It was no ordinary event. Energy waves, unlike anything Elias had ever seen, surged through the space surrounding the Empire. The storm's intensity caused the floating crystal bridges to vibrate, and the dragons below paused, their eyes reflecting concern. Az Hera appeared beside Elias, her massive wings spreading wide as she surveyed the sky. This storm is unlike anything in recorded history, she said, her voice calm but firm. It carries energy capable of disrupting the core chambers of the Empire. If we do not act carefully, it could destabilize everything. Elias swallowed hard. How can we stop it? He asked. His voice trembled, though he tried to hide it. Azera's eyes softened as she looked at him. We may not stop it with strength alone. Lumestra's energy can stabilize it, but only if she is calm. You must help her. You are her anchor. Humyn. Elias looked at Lumestra, who chirped softly and nuzzled his neck. He understood then what he had to do. He had protected her from loneliness, guided her through uncertainty, and earned her trust. Now, that trust would be tested against the power of a cosmic storm. He stepped forward, holding Lumestra gently. It's okay, he whispered. We can do this together. The storm's energy grew stronger, crackling across the skies and illuminating the Empire with waves of pure light. Below, dragons struggled to maintain stability, their glowing forms flickering as the energy threatened to overwhelm them. Lumestra chirped, clearly distressed, her horns flashing rapidly. Elias tightened his hold on her. Breathe, he said softly. I'm here. You're safe. For a moment, it seemed impossible. The storm's energy was vast, more than any human or dragon could face alone. But then, Elias remembered something Azera had told him. Strength alone does not create bonds. Trust and understanding do. He looked at Lumestra, meeting her glowing eyes. He could feel her heartbeat, her emotions, her fear, and he whispered to her, softly, patiently, as he had when he first found her lost in the nebula. Slowly, her glow began to stabilize. Her chirps became calm, rhythmic, and steady. Azera observed silently, wings spread wide, her massive presence a shield around them. The baby dragon's energy began to harmonize with Elias's calm, steady rhythm. The storm's waves slowed, their destructive energy starting to dissipate. Steady, Elias murmured. We've got this. With a sudden surge of synchronized energy, Lumestra's horns pulsed brightly, sending waves of stabilizing energy through the Empire. Crystals on the towers resonated with her light, channels of energy forming a protective net around the city. The dragons below felt the change immediately. Their wings spread, and they helped channel the energy, guided by Lumestra and Elias's calm presence. The storm fought back, sending flashes of chaos across the skies. Elias held Lumestra tighter. You can do it, he whispered. I believe in you. The baby dragon chirped one final time, sending a wave of energy so bright that the storm itself seemed to pause. Then, slowly, the cosmic waves began to disperse, flowing harmlessly into the distance. The Empire was safe. Azera lowered her wings, her eyes glowing with pride and relief. Well done, she said, her voice carrying across the platform. Humyn, you have proven your worth. And Lumestra, your trust in him has saved us all. Elias exhaled, feeling the tension drain from his body. He looked down at the baby dragon, who nuzzled him affectionately. We did it, he said softly. Round them, dragons cheered, their glowing forms lighting the sky with celebration. The cosmic storm had been powerful, but through trust, courage, and understanding, it had been overcome. Elias realized then what Azera had meant humanity's. Strength was not in brute force, but in empathy, courage, and connection. Azera approached, her gaze softening as she looked at Elias and Lumestra. "This day will be remembered," she said, "not for the storm, but for the bond between a human and a dragon. You have shown that trust, care, and courage can overcome even the greatest challenges." Elias felt a deep warmth spread through him. He had never imagined that his quiet life on a remote outpost would lead to this moment. He had learned, grown, and earned a place among beings far greater than himself, and he had done it without weapons, without strength, only with patience, empathy, and care. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for trusting me, for letting me help her." Azera nodded. "You have earned more than trust. You have earned respect, and today, humanity has earned its place among the stars not by conquest, but by heart." Lumestra chirped, nuzzling Elias once more. The baby dragon's glow pulsed softly, a living symbol of their bond. Elias realized that this little creature had changed his life and perhaps even the galaxy simply by choosing to trust him. The dragons of the Empire gathered around, curiosity and admiration in their glowing eyes. They had seen humans before, but none had shown the courage, patience, and understanding that Elias had. Slowly, murmurs spread among the dragons. Humanity might be small, but it was capable of greatness. Azera spread her wings, sending a ripple of energy across the Empire. "Let this day mark a new beginning," she said. "Humans and dragons can walk together, not as strangers or enemies, but as allies. Today, trust has rewritten history." Elias felt a surge of pride. He had never thought of himself as special, but in this moment, he understood that ordinary humans could do extraordinary things when guided by care, courage, and empathy. As the celebrations continued, Elias and Lumestra walked through the city together. Dragons of all sizes approached them, some curious, others respectful. Lumestra chirped happily, interacting with them, and Elias realized that she was teaching the dragons about humans. Just as he was learning about dragons, they reached a quiet balcony overlooking the nebula, the sky painted with colors that shifted like liquid light. Elias held Lumestra close, looking at the endless stars beyond. "Who would have thought," he said softly, "that a little dragon and a lonely human could make such a difference?" Lumestra chirped, nudging his cheek. Elias smiled. The connection was clear. Trust, care, and courage could bridge any divide, even between species from different worlds. Azera appeared beside him, her presence both majestic and reassuring. "You have done more than save the Empire," she said. "You have shown that the bond between human and dragon is stronger than any storm. That bond is a symbol, a promise, and a lesson for the stars." Elias nodded. "I only did what felt right. I guess that's what humans can do best." Azera's eyes glowed softly, her wings folding around them. "Perhaps, but today, the galaxy has seen it for itself. Humanity is not weak. It is capable of courage, compassion, and greatness, and sometimes, the smallest being can teach the largest lesson." Lumestra chirped once more, curling into Elias's arms. He hugged her gently, feeling the warmth and energy pulsing from her tiny body. Together, they had faced the unknown, calmed the storm, and rewritten the destiny of a dragon empire. As night fell over the crystal towers, the stars reflected in Elias's eyes. He thought of the journey that had brought him here, a lonely human, on a distant outpost, a peculiar baby dragon lost among the stars, and a choice to trust, care, and act with courage. That choice had changed not only their lives, but the galaxy itself. Azera watched silently, proud and wise. She knew that humans, small and unpredictable, could accomplish what dragons alone could not, and in that realization lay hope for understanding, unity, and a future where dragons and humans could walk the stars together. Elias looked down at Lumestra, her tiny wings fluttering, her horns glowing softly. "We've done it," he whispered. "We've really done it." The baby dragon chirped, a sound of joy, trust, and connection. Elias smiled, feeling a warmth he had never known before. For the first time, he understood that courage and kindness could ripple through the stars, creating bonds that no power could break. And as the stars shimmered above, Elias knew that this was only the beginning. Together, Humyn and Dragon would face the galaxy, not as strangers or enemies, but as allies. Together, they had rewritten history, proving that trust, courage, and care could overcome even the greatest storms. The universe stretched endlessly before them, full of mysteries, wonders, and challenges. But Elias, holding Lumestra close, felt ready. For the first time in his life, he was not alone. He was part of something far greater. And together, they would shine across the stars. Elias Ward stood on the balcony of the Celestial Dragon Empire, holding Lumestra close. The baby dragon's tiny claws gripped his shoulder, and her horns glowed softly, pulsing with the same rhythm as her excitement. Below, the empire sprawled like a living constellation, dragons moving gracefully among crystal towers and floating bridges of light. Elias had spent days exploring the empire, learning its customs and meeting dragons of all shapes and sizes. Each encounter had been a lesson in patience, respect, and humility. But now, he felt something deeper, a sense of belonging, a connection not only to Lumestra but to this vast, magical world. Azera appeared beside him, her wings folding gracefully. "You have adapted well, Humyn," she said. Her voice carried the weight of authority and also a hint of warmth. But adaptation is only the first step. Understanding comes next. Elias nodded. "I'm trying," he replied. "Lumestra trusts me, and I want to do everything I can to help her. She is special," Azera said, her eyes glowing. "Not just to me, but to the entire empire. Her survival, her happiness. It affects more than you realize." Before Elias could respond, a soft tremor shook the platform. Below, the dragons paused in their movements. From the edge of the city, a new energy signature appeared, faint at first, then growing stronger. Elias's heart skipped a beat. Lumestra's horns brightened, and she chirped urgently. Azera's gaze hardened. "An intruder," she said, "and not a dragon." Elias followed her eyes and saw a massive starship approaching. Unlike any human vessel he had ever seen, it radiated energy in patterns that were both beautiful and threatening. He sensed immediately that these newcomers were powerful and experienced, possibly rival explorers, or agents of a distant system. "Mother," one of Azera's advisors called. "Their energy is stable but advanced. They may not intend harm, yet we cannot be sure." Azera nodded, her wings spreading wider. "Prepare a welcoming team, but stay alert. And Humyn, you will remain with Lumestra. Observe and learn." Elias glanced down at the baby dragon. She chirped softly, as if agreeing with her mother. He realized that, though small, Lumestra's instincts were stronger than his own. He had trusted her when he first found her in the nebula, and now he would rely on her again. The starship landed with a graceful hum, and its occupants stepped out. Elias could see several human-like figures inside, though their armor and equipment were unlike anything he had ever seen. Their presence was confident, deliberate, and cautious. Azera moved forward to greet them, Elias and Lumestra following. "Travelers," she said, her voice clear and commanding, "state your purpose in my empire." One of the figures stepped forward, a tall humanoid with a calm, measured expression. "We are explorers," he said. "We come seeking knowledge. We detected a unique energy signal, a young dragon. We mean no harm. Our goal is to study and learn, not to interfere." Elias studied their faces carefully. There was no hostility, yet their presence made him uneasy. He looked down at Lumestra, who had shifted slightly, her horns glowing brighter. She seemed to sense the truth that while these beings spoke of peace, their curiosity might bring unintended consequences. Azera nodded slowly. "Curiosity is acceptable. Intrusion is not. You may observe, but only under guidance. And Humyn, you will ensure Lumestra remains calm." Elias swallowed. "Understood," he said, feeling the weight of responsibility. He looked at Lumestra, who chirped softly and nuzzled his shoulder. He smiled. "Don't worry, little one. I've got you." The explorers moved through the city, guided by Azera and her advisors. Elias stayed close to Lumestra, watching carefully. He noticed how the dragons around them interacted with the newcomers, curious, cautious, and sometimes skeptical. The Empire had never faced outsiders like this before, and Elias realized that trust, once broken, could not be easily restored. During their tour, one of the explorers approached a glowing crystal in the Hall of Echoes. "This energy, it's unlike anything we've recorded," he said quietly. "It feels alive." Elias watched Lumestra's horns pulse in response. The baby dragon chirped softly, then curled closer to him. Elias understood that she was communicating her feelings, her instincts, and perhaps even a subtle warning. He stepped forward. "Please be careful. She's very sensitive. Any sudden action might frighten her." The explorer nodded, lowering his hand. "Understood," he said, glancing at Lumestra with awe. "She's remarkable," Azera observed silently, noting Elias's careful guidance. Humans were unpredictable, but this one had proven his loyalty and care. "You understand her well," she said, her tone approving. "That is rare. Many dragons themselves cannot manage such control." Elias shrugged. "I just listen. I try to understand." Azera's eyes softened. "And that is the key. Understanding, not force, builds bonds stronger than any power or authority." As the day passed, the visitors continued their tour. Elias kept Lumestra close, guiding her, calming her, and explaining small details about the humans they were meeting. The baby dragon chirped happily, responding to his gentle voice and reassuring presence. By evening, the explorers prepared to leave. They had recorded extensive data, asked questions, and observed the Empire, but they had gained no deeper access without Azera's permission. Elias realized that the dragon's caution was wise. Their world was fragile, even if it appeared indestructible. Before departure, the lead explorer approached Elias. "You care for her deeply," he said, nodding toward Lumestra. "It is rare to see such trust between species." Elias smiled. "We have to look out for each other," he said simply. "She trusted me when she was alone, and I'll do the same now." Azera's voice rang out, echoing across the platform. "Humyn, your loyalty is noted. It is an example to all that trust and understanding can cross even the greatest boundaries." Elias looked at Lumestra, who chirped softly, curling closer to him. He realized then that the baby dragon had chosen him not because he was strong, but because he cared. Strength alone could not earn trust. Empathy, patience, and respect were the true measures of worth. Later, Elias and Azera stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The sky was filled with drifting light and energy streams from the distant nebula. The Empire sparkled in the dim glow, alive with movement and light. "You have made a choice," Azera said quietly. "To stay close to her, to care for her, and to respect her instincts. That choice has changed much more than you realize." Elias nodded. "I didn't feel like a choice. I just knew what was right." Azera's eyes glowed softly. "That is why you are rare among your species. Humans are capable of great courage, but few understand the value of patience and empathy. You have both." Elias felt a warmth spread through him. "I just want to protect her and learn, and maybe help your empire understand us better too." Azera's wings spread slightly. "Then you shall have your chance. But know this: the galaxy is not always kind. Choices will be required, and not all of them will be easy." Elias looked down at Lumestra, who chirped and nudged his shoulder. He realized that whatever challenges awaited, he would face them with her by his side. Together, they had already overcome fear, isolation, and uncertainty. Together, they could face the unknown. As night fell over the Empire, the stars reflected in Elias's eyes. He thought about the journey that had brought him here from a lonely outpost in the nebula to the heart of a dragon empire, and he understood that his role was not just to protect Lumestra, but to bridge the worlds of humans and dragons, building trust, understanding, and friendship. Azera watched him silently, knowing that the choice to trust a human and to allow him to guide her child had set in motion events that could change the galaxy. She did not fully understand the human, but she respected him, and respect, she knew, was stronger than fear or power. The night passed quietly, and Elias held Lumestra close, feeling her tiny heartbeat, her warmth, and her trust. In that moment, he realized something profound. The strongest bonds were not built on force, authority, or rules, but on care, patience, and understanding. And the choice he had made to protect her, to trust her instincts, and to act with empathy had begun to break barriers that no one had thought possible. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and perhaps new dangers. But for now, Elias, Lumestra, and the Dragon Emperor rested, united by trust, respect, and a bond that crossed species, worlds, and stars. The galaxy waited. But Elias no longer feared it. He had made his choice, and he would face whatever came next with courage, wisdom, and the glowing heart of a tiny, peculiar baby dragon by his side. The Dragon Emperor's vessel moved like a silver comet through the nebula, carrying Elias Ward and Lumestra toward the heart of the celestial dragon empire. Elias had never imagined anything like it. The stars seemed to bend around them, and the ship itself shimmered with a soft, golden light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Lumestra chirped happily, her glowing horns flickering with excitement. She nuzzled Elias's shoulder, clearly comforted by his presence. For a small creature, she had a big heart, and she seemed to understand that her mother, Azera, would protect her. Elias tried to calm his racing thoughts. "Okay, stay calm," he muttered. "Everything's going to be fine. I hope." Azera hovered nearby, her massive wings casting a shadow that glittered like a galaxy. Her eyes, radiant and deep, studied Elias silently. She had seen countless beings in her long life, from humans to the most ancient dragons of the Empire, but this one human intrigued her. "You are brave," Azera said finally, her voice low and melodic. "Most humans would have run, hidden, or trembled in fear. Yet you held her, protected her, and calmed her. That is unusual." Elias swallowed. "I didn't do anything special," he said. "I just couldn't leave her alone." Azera tilted her head, considering him. "Perhaps that is the measure of your species, unexpected, yet capable of great empathy." Elias blinked. "Empathy?" he repeated. He had heard the word before, but he never imagined the Dragon Emperor herself using it to describe him. "Yes," she said simply. "You cared for a life that was not your own, and that act alone has earned you a place here, at least for now." The vessel entered a corridor of light, and Elias gasped. Before him lay the full scale of the celestial dragon empire. Planets floated inside enormous transparent domes, connected by shimmering bridges of energy. Flying dragons of all sizes glided gracefully through the sky, some trailing starlight from their wings, others coiling round the crystal towers with elegant precision. Elias felt small, almost insignificant, but also awed beyond words. "It's incredible," he whispered. Az Hira observed him carefully. "It is our home, and soon it will also be your home, Humyn. But first, you must understand how we live and why Lumestra is so special." Lumestra chirped, almost as if she understood. She wriggled in Elias's arms, nudging him toward her mother. Elias smiled, feeling the bond between mother and child. It was clear Lumestra was happy, but also aware of the importance of this meeting. They landed on a platform high above the main city. The air shimmered with energy, and Elias felt it tickle his skin. The dragons below paused in their activities, noticing the arrival of their emperor and her unusual guest. Some whispered in low tones, others simply stared in awe. Elias realized that humans were rare here, and his presence alone was drawing attention. Azera turned to him. "Do not be afraid. Observe, learn, and respect our ways. Lumestra will guide you in understanding her world." Elias nodded, feeling both nervous and excited. "I will," he said. They moved through the city, and Elias's eyes widened at every turn. Dragons of all sizes, shapes, and colors passed by, some speaking in melodic tones that resonated in the air. Others displayed bursts of energy, creating patterns like living constellations. He could feel the power around him, immense and awe-inspiring, yet somehow comforting. Azera led him to a large chamber filled with glowing crystals. Lumestra chirped happily, darting around the room as if she had returned home. Elias followed, careful not to step on anything fragile. The crystals pulsed with soft light, each one recording memories, thoughts, and energy patterns of dragons who had passed through. This is the Hall of Echoes, Azera explained. Here, the history and wisdom of our empire are preserved. It is a place of learning, reflection, and understanding. And soon, you may learn from it as well, if you prove yourself worthy. Elias's gaze swept over the chamber. It's like the stars are alive. Azera's lips curved into a small smile. A poetic observation, Humyn. Perhaps that is why Lumestra trusts you. You see the beauty in things many overlook. For ours, Elias explored the chamber, observing dragons interacting with the crystals, absorbing knowledge, and communicating in ways he could barely comprehend. Lumestra chirped excitedly, showing him which crystals held information about her species, her rare cosmic patterns, and her place in the Empire. Elias listened, fascinated. So, she's unique even among dragons? He asked. Yes, Azera replied. Her patterns mark her as one of a kind. She carries the potential to influence not just our empire, but the balance of life among the stars. Elias felt a mix of awe and responsibility. He was just a human, yet here he was, entrusted with the care of a creature that could shape the galaxy. I'll do my best to help her, he said quietly. Azera studied him carefully, as if weighing his soul. Then she nodded. That is all anyone can ask. As the day passed, Elias began to understand more about the dragon society. They were wise, patient, and deeply connected to the universe around them. Yet there was also a sense of caution, of rules and traditions that humans had never needed to consider. Later, Azera took Elias to a balcony overlooking the city. Below, dragons moved gracefully, each one a work of art in motion. Lumestra perched on Elias's shoulder, chirping softly as she looked at her mother. You have grown fond of her, Azera observed. Elias smiled. Yes, she's amazing. And she's also very brave for her size. She is, Azera agreed. And she will need guidance, protection, and understanding as she grows. That is why you are here. Not only to care for her, but to learn how humans and dragons can cooperate. Elias felt a surge of pride mixed with fear. He was a simple human, but now he had a role that could impact an entire species. I won't let you down, he said. Azera's eyes softened. I believe you, but the galaxy is unpredictable, Humyn. You must be prepared for challenges you cannot yet imagine. At that moment, a sudden flare of energy lit up the sky. Elias instinctively held Lumestra close, shielding her. Azera's wings spread wide, and the light revealed a new presence, a massive starship, unlike anything Elias had seen before, moving quickly toward the city. Guess, Azera said, her voice calm but alert, and possibly troubled. Elias's heart raced. What do we do? Observe first, Azera replied. Understand before acting. That is the way of dragons. But be ready. Your role is not over yet. The starship landed nearby, and Elias could see figures moving within it. They were not dragons, he could sense it. Humans, but different from him. He wondered if they were explorers, traders, or something else entirely. Azera turned to him. You will stay close to Lumestra. She may sense their intentions before we do. Trust her instincts. Elias nodded. I will. The little dragon chirped, as if confirming her mother's words. Elias realized that she was not only a guide, but also a protector. She had instincts humans could not fully understand, and he would have to rely on them if danger came. The Dragon Emperor. And Elias moved toward the new rivals, ready to greet them. But Elias knew that this encounter would change everything. The galaxy was full of surprises, and Lumestra's presence alone was enough to draw attention. Curiosity, and perhaps even envy. As they approached, Elias felt a strange excitement. He had left a lonely outpost behind, and now he was part of something far greater. Dragons, humans, and the vast unknown of the galaxy all waiting for him to step forward, to act with courage, and to honor the trust of a small, peculiar baby dragon. And as the stars twinkled above, Elias understood something profound, the bond between a human and a dragon, born from trust and care, could change the destiny of the universe itself. For the first time, He felt ready to face whatever came next. The adventure was far from over. Far across the starry expanse, the celestial dragon empire shimmered like a living constellation. Its towers of crystal reflected the light of nearby suns, and its massive flying vessels moved gracefully between the planets, leaving trails of soft, golden energy. At the heart of the empire sat the dragon emperor, Azera, ruler of all starborn dragons, a being of immense power, beauty, and wisdom. Az here single quotes S eyes, deep and glowing with cosmic light, focused on a single point in space. Her chest thrummed as a familiar pulse echoed through the galaxy. It was soft but insistent, unmistakably her child. Her voice, melodic and commanding, resonated through the Empire's halls. She is not with the nest. Something has taken her. Advisors bowed, their wings folding respectfully. But even they felt the tension. Lumestra was the only hatchling of her kind born with the rare cosmic patterns that shimmered like stars inside her scales. She was precious and unique, and the loss of her presence was felt deeply by all dragons. Azera spread her wings, immense and radiant, and stood on the observation platform. Search every sector, she commanded. Use every fleet. I want my daughter returned safely, immediately. No human world is off limits. The advisors exchanged nervous glances. Humans had always been unpredictable, some even reckless, and the idea of a human finding Lumestra filled many with concern. Humans had never truly understood dragons, and many dragons distrusted them deeply. But Azera's determination was absolute. I will find her myself if necessary, she said, her voice echoing like the song of distant planets. And anyone who hinders me will answer to me. Meanwhile, across light years of empty space, Elias Ward remained unaware of the approaching storm. He had spent hours observing Lumestra, trying to understand her unusual behavior. She was not like any creature he had ever encountered. She was intelligent, sensitive, and surprisingly affectionate. Elias placed a hand gently on her small back. You're safe here, he whispered. I'll protect you. The dragon chirped softly, pressing her glowing head into his palm. Elias smiled, feeling a connection he could not explain. He didn't know that somewhere out there, an entire empire of beings capable of unimaginable power was searching for the small dragon, and for him. Back in the Dragon Empire, Azera had ordered her fastest ships to scan the sectors near the nebula spire. Sensors flared, energy pulses pinged, and communication channels buzzed with activity. Her fleet moved like a net through the galaxy, leaving no rock unturned. Mother, a young dragon advisor called. There is an unusual energy reading near Outpost 12. It is faint but strong. It pulses with the same rhythm as Lumestra. Azera's eyes narrowed. Take me there. Her vessel tore through space, faster than any human craft could ever hope to reach. As she approached the outpost, the pulse grew stronger, and she felt the unmistakable presence of her child. Relief mingled with caution in her heart. Humans were unpredictable, and she had no idea what she might find back on the outpost. Elias was tinkering with a scanner, trying to detect any unusual signals from Lumestra. Suddenly, the scanner beeped sharply, alerting him to a massive energy spike nearby. Lumestra's horns glowed brightly in response, pulsing with excitement and recognition. What is it? Elias whispered. He frowned at the screen. The energy reading was immense, far stronger than anything he had ever seen. His heart began to race. And then he saw it. A shadow moved across the nebula outside the station, a colossal shape, immense and awe-inspiring. His breath caught in his throat. Lumestra chirped loudly, struggling to get out of the box and into his arms. Elias's mind raced. It can't be. A dragon? He muttered. No human could handle something that big. The shadow grew closer, and the immense figure of the Dragon Emperor appeared in the sky. Her scales shimmered with the colors of galaxies, her wings spread wide like a curtain of stars, and her eyes glowed like twin suns. Every human word Elias had learned about dragons suddenly seemed too small to describe her majesty. Lumestra squirmed in his hands, chirping excitedly. Elias realized she recognized her mother. The bond between them was clear. Despite the fearsome appearance of the Dragon Emperor, Lumestra's trust in him had not wavered. Azera hovered above the station, observing the human holding her child. For a moment, she said nothing. The human did not tremble, did not run. Instead, he cradled Lumestra gently, speaking softly. Azera tilted her head. "He does not fear me." The realization startled her. Humans rarely showed such calm courage in the presence of dragons, let alone in the presence of the Emperor herself. Most would have fled, begged for mercy, or hidden. Yet this human held her child as if he understood her importance. "Child." Azera's voice rang out, gentle but firm. "Give her to me." Elias froze, glancing at Lumestra. The little dragon chirped, curling tighter against him. Elias hesitated. He wanted to obey, but something told him that releasing her immediately might frighten the baby. I can't just hand her over," Elias said slowly. She trusts me. I think she needs me." Azera's eyes narrowed slightly, a ripple of concern passing through her. Trust? Could this human have earned it so quickly? She hovered closer, wings folding elegantly, and observed him carefully. "Child," she repeated. Softer this time. "You must come with me. You are safe, but your mother is here." Lumestra chirped again, almost insistently, nudging Elias as if she wanted him to understand. Elias smiled, finally understanding. The baby dragon wanted her mother, but she also wanted him to come along. Elias swallowed hard, taking a deep breath. "Okay," he said. "I'll help you, but only if you promise not to hurt her or me." Azera studied him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she lowered a wing to allow him and Lumestra to float closer. The gesture was cautious but welcoming. Elias realized he had passed some kind of silent test. The moment was surreal. A human and the Dragon Emperor, hovering in space above a small outpost, holding a baby dragon that glowed like a living star. The universe seemed to pause, as if watching this unlikely meeting. Azera finally spoke again, her voice now soft with relief. "You have cared for her," she said. "I see it in her eyes. She trusts you, that is rare among humans." Elias felt a strange pride. "I only wanted to help," he replied. "She was lost. I couldn't leave her alone." Azera nodded. Her glowing eyes softened. "Then you shall come with us, not as a prisoner, but as a guardian. You have earned a place at my side, at least for now." Elias's mind raced. A place with dragons? The idea seemed impossible. And yet, looking at Lumestra, he understood. His life had changed forever. In the quiet outpost, the lonely months, the endless stars, all of it had led to this moment. Azera extended a wing to envelop both of them gently. The station beneath them seemed small and fragile in comparison to the vast power of the Dragon Emperor. And yet, within that vastness, Elias felt no fear, only awe, wonder, and the beginning of trust. "Come," Azera said, her voice like music carried on solar winds. "There is much to show you, human, and much to learn about the galaxy, and your place in it." Elias nodded, holding Lumestra close. He looked at the stars, feeling the pulse of the nebula, the heartbeat of the dragon, and the quiet courage growing within him. Together, they stepped toward the Dragon Emperor, leaving the outpost behind. And in that moment, the galaxy seemed to hum with possibility. The bond between a human and a dragon, fragile yet strong, had already begun to rewrite the rules of the universe. The adventure had only just begun. Elias Ward wiped the sweat from his brow as he worked on the communications panel of the remote research outpost. The nebula spire stretched endlessly in front of him, a swirling mass of purple and blue clouds, dotted with distant stars. For months, he had been alone on this post, checking on the automated sensors that scanned the nearby asteroid belts and gas clouds. His life was simple, repetitive, and quiet, but the quiet had begun to feel heavy. Almost like a weight pressing against his chest, he leaned back, rubbing his tired eyes, when a strange sound made him freeze. It wasn't the hum of the outpost's machinery, nor the soft whistling of the solar winds outside. It was a soft, urgent chirp, almost like a child calling for help. Elias frowned. "Hello," he called into the empty station. The sound came again, louder this time, and it seemed closer. He checked the monitoring screens. Nothing. No ship, no asteroid, no usual signal. Just the empty darkness outside. Curiosity won over caution. Elias grabbed a small flashlight and stepped out of the station into the cold void of space, using his magnetic boots to cling to the outer hull. The stars glittered around him like scattered diamonds, but his attention was on the faint chirping. Following the sound, he moved toward a rocky crevice in the nearby asteroid cluster. His heart raced as he saw something strange. Tangled in crystalline vines was a small creature, no bigger than a human child. Its scales shimmered in colors he could not name, changing between silver, green, and soft gold with each movement. Its eyes were large, round, and curious, looking directly at him. Elias froze. He had read about dragons and human legends in old data files, but this creature was nothing like the stories. It had no sharp teeth or claws, no wings large enough to fly, yet its tiny tail flicked with nervous energy, and its glowing horns pulsed gently like a heartbeat. The baby dragon chirped again, and it sounded almost like it was asking for help. Without thinking, Elias reached out. The creature flinched, then slowly crawled into his hands, nuzzling against his chest as if it already trusted him. Elias's mind raced. How did you get here?" he whispered. He carefully untangled the crystalline vines, noticing that they were not alive in the usual sense. They seemed almost magical, but Elias had never seen magic, only science. And this, whatever it was something neither science nor legend had prepared him for. He carried the tiny dragon back to the station, holding it close. The little creature warmed itself against his suit, and its glowing horns pulsed brighter, as if showing happiness. Inside the outpost, Elias tried to think. He had no experience with animals, let alone dragons. How would he feed it? What did it need? The creature chirped again, almost impatiently, as if it wanted him to understand. He set it down gently on the lab table. Okay, first step. We find food. Elias opened a storage locker and pulled out some protein packs and minerals, hoping they would be enough. The dragon sniffed the air, then pecked delicately at the minerals. It seemed satisfied. Elias watched it with awe. You're not dangerous at all, he said softly. Just lost, aren't you? The creature chirped again, almost nodding, and Elias felt a strange connection. It was as if the dragon knew he was the first person to truly care for it. The realization struck him. This was no ordinary animal. Something about it felt important. The next hours passed quickly. Elias observed the dragon, noting its patterns, its glowing colors, and the soft hum it made when content. He named it Lumestra, after the way its scales glowed like distant stars. Lumestra curled up in a small box with soft padding and nuzzled his hands. Whenever he approached, Elias felt a strange sense of responsibility. I can't just leave you here, he murmured. Something must be looking for you. He activated the long-range scanners to search for any signals similar to the one that had led him to Lumestra. Hours passed, but nothing appeared. No distress beacon, no message, no ship. Just the endless stars and the quiet hum of the outpost. As night passed in the artificial day-night cycle of the station, Elias finally sat back, exhausted. Lumestra had settled on a table nearby, its small head resting on its tiny claws. For the first time in months, Elias felt a sense of calm he hadn't felt in a long time. But then, a sudden pulse of energy flashed across the scanner. Elias's heart skipped a beat. It wasn't from any human craft. It was different, powerful, immense, almost like a living signal. Lumestra stirred, its glowing horns brightening as if reacting to it. Elias frowned. What is that? The pulse repeated, closer this time. It carried a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat, and Elias realized, with a mixture of awe and fear, that it might be coming from a dragon, but not just any dragon. Something enormous, something that could span the sky. He thought about the old records he had read: dragon empires, star-born dragons, creatures that had ruled sectors of the galaxy long before humans had reached the stars. Could it be Lumestra's parent? The little dragon suddenly chirped sharply and wriggled in his hands. Its eyes focused on the scanner, glowing brightly. Elias realized that Lumestra understood the signal it was reacting, trying to communicate. Okay? Elias said aloud, speaking to both himself and the tiny dragon. We need to be careful. Whoever or whatever that is could be dangerous. He carefully shut down all external communications to avoid detection, but kept the scanners running. Hours passed. Lumestra stayed close to him, and Elias spoke softly, trying to calm both himself and the dragon. As the artificial night approached again, Elias thought of his life before the discovery. Months of solitude, routine, and loneliness. None of it had prepared him for this, and yet he didn't feel afraid. He felt needed. He looked at Lumestra, now glowing softly in the dim light. You're not just a creature, he said quietly. You're something special, something that matters. The baby dragon chirped, almost as if it understood. Curling against his chest again, Elias felt a warmth spread through him, a strange sense of hope. Outside, the stars shimmered, hiding secrets older than human history. Somewhere in the darkness, a massive presence moved through the nebula, sensing its missing child. The Dragon Emperor, an enormous, powerful being, whose eyes could see across light years, was searching. And Lumestra's pulse, bright and alive, was calling her home. Elias did not know it yet, but the arrival of the Dragon Emperor would change his life forever. The peaceful solitude of the nebulous spire would soon be replaced by a storm of wonder, mystery, and discovery. And at the center of it all was a tiny, peculiar baby dragon who had found a human to care for her. For the first time in his life, Elias felt that the universe was bigger than he had ever imagined. And in that moment, holding Lumestra close, he realized that he was ready to face whatever came next, because sometimes the smallest creatures carry the greatest destinies, and sometimes the simplest human alone on a distant outpost could change the fate of a dragon empire.